Intercepting is obtaining communication networks data lawfully for the purpose of analysis or of evidence. Such data generally consists of significant network management information, or even fewer instances, the content of the communications if the data are not obtained in real time. The activities is referred to as access to detained data. Joining us this morning on this topic is our security expert, Lionel Rawlins von Frederick, the security coordinator of the American University of Nigeria. Good morning, Lionel.
Good morning. Barakada Safiya.
Barakada
Safiya. A very good morning to you, Doctor.
It's good to be here again.
Yeah.
Always nice to have you around for security tips.
Yeah, no, sure do. Yeah.
Should have been, did you watch the Super Bowl last night? And you know the American football.
Football.
Yeah. Seattle beat the Denver Broncos. And we stayed up all night to watch it.
Does that mean we should talk about football?
You know what's going to happen now? I think we're going to migrate from giving security tips
to
football analysis.
No, they wouldn't understand it. It's American football, but it's the most watched sporting event in the world.
In the world.
Well, we can as well adopt that. We can learn.
It could be introduced into Nigeria.
We could do that. You know, Nigeria will be successful if they were to do that. In terms of football, you all have the people to do it.
Okay.
They got the strength also.
Yes.
But mind you, we're not talking football this morning. But rather, we're talking security matters.
Absolutely.
So, as a security expert, let's start with you. As there is this measure taken by the Senate, you know, they already passed the bill for the second reading on intercepting communications. Do you think that would, you know, go a long way in curtailing the security issues in Nigeria if this bill should be, you know, passed into law?
Absolutely. It's a new thing, it's new grounds for Nigerians, so they believe that their privacy is being infringed upon. But it'll be better for the country because they'll be able to solve, I would say, about 50% of all the unsolved murders and crimes. Just by listening in, they'll be able to detect all of these unsolved murders. Also, in terms of terrorism and things like organized crime activities, this is what will help them solve these and prevent, not just solving, but also preventing. But I want you to also know that even though it's not happened and it's not happening by Nigeria to Nigerians, the rest of the world is listening and watching Nigeria. You got to imagine that this is the most important country on the entire continent. And you must imagine that China and America and Japan and
other developed countries picking interests.
Yes, and they all are listening. So they already are listening on you and your conversation.
Already?
You're saying that they're already listening to us in our conversation. Now, and that should imply that the nation should also adopt that method of listening to the conversation of the individuals. Is that in the first place, is it right for you to listen to somebody's conversation?
No, it's not right. Everyone has a right to privacy.
Exactly, because I was going to say it's infringing on some people's rights, on everybody's rights.
Everyone has a right to privacy. However, the government also has a right to develop rules and laws and regulations to protect you, its citizens, from harm. And if it involves listening in on conversations, it has a right to do so. Now, here's the problem. It has to strike a real good balance. You cannot just listen in on someone's conversation if they're talking about their banking activities. Usually countries don't do that because that's not what they really want to do. What they want to do is listen in on the bad guys to see what they're doing or to hear what they're doing and to read, because it also involves your email, your internet as well. Right. It's not just listening but reading what it is you transport. Yeah. So it has to be a good balance that has to be struck, whether you want to give the country a better capable defense system, or you want to let people keep on running into their own devices of their own privacy. I would predict that it will pass. I can almost assure you that they will not listen to your personal conversations.
But how do you strike the balance? And when do you know when to listen to conversation that a threat to national security?
Each country does it differently, but one of the things that they do, that most countries, there's a thing called the international standards that Nigeria will have to abide by. One of the things that they do, if, for example, in America or Britain or France, they listen to the conversations, they listen to certain buzzwords. If you say something like, kill someone, kill the president or kill the Speaker of the House, then that is grounds for them to pay close attention. If you're talking about killing something or killing someone, they will listen in more in-depthly. But if you're having a personal discussion with your husband over your marriage going bad or having problems, financial problems, they don't have the time to listen in on that. Now, since it's new for Nigeria, you will have to put all of these blocks in place to make sure that your politicians and the powerful do not take these things and use it against the people or for personal gain. But then again, that is where all the ISO, the international standards, come in.
You have people intercepting conversations, and you tend to wonder. So it is good for national security. That's what you're saying. It
is good. And you must remember, too, it's not just, they don't just listen in. They have to have someone very high up has got to give a good reason to a judge why there's a need to listen in to people or to a section or a state or community, and they need to have probable cause. And the probable cause come down to do I have good reasons to impress the judge for that request to listen, and they better be good.
Now, what is the difference between tabbing somebody and paying attention or listening to somebody when the person is talking or communicating?
Well, if you know that somebody is doing something wrong, illegal, you're not so sure what they're doing, and you have a problem finding out what they're doing, you can ask the judge to let you listen into that individual. And if the probable cause, if you could convince him that there really is a need and a reason for you to listen, he will grant you that wish. And you will listen on that individual's conversation. He or she will never know that people are listening and that people are also reading his emails and texts. He will never know until it ends up in court. But if you have to do it to the whole country, the country will never know, and anything that you say can be listened into. It's the same thing in the United States. They listen to everybody's conversation.
Yeah,
but they don't have enough, there is not enough time to listen to everything
people say. Now, I know there was, in the later part of last year, 2013, there was an issue coming up from Germany where the Chancellor was complaining of somebody
people intercepting
their calls, and even the Brazilian president also. There was that kind of accusation that people were reading her emails. Now, all this put together, one would want to ask, what is the merit and demerit of listening to somebody's conversation in the name that you're trying to protect national interest? And what are the merits? Let's just look at the merits and demerits of all this.
Well, let's look at the one with the Chancellor, since you brought that up. They have to listen to other countries, even though we all are friends and allies. I don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what I'm doing. So I want to know what it is you're doing so I can know how to protect myself. Because if I don't know what is going on here, then I'll be left in the blind. The merit is that it offers some good protection for the country. We don't know what the bad guys are doing here in Nigeria, so if I can listen in, let's say all of the stuff that's happening in Maiduguri, they can listen in to that stuff and see what information they can get. The demerit is that if people are not careful and it's that they don't really take this thing as a serious responsibility, they can abuse it. And the only people who can abuse it are really the politicians and your heads of security who have the ability to listen in. And the people who actually are listening in, because the people who are listening in is ordinary folks who are listening and gathering information and passing it to the top. They can take that information and sell it to other people or use it for their own personal gain. So everyone has to be sanitized, and you have to have the best and most credulous people working in that area.
But how safe is intercepting people's conversation? How safe is it? You have people who, rather than making it easier for security experts, but rather compounding the issues, coming up with issues that may not be true. We have similar case leaking out informations, just like Eric Snowden did during the other time in the U.S. and now seeking asylum in other countries.
That is why I said you have to have the most credulous, the most honest, the most people, the most integrity.
So now, if you don't have people with integrity, we're looking at the disadvantage of it.
Right.
Okay, we're going to talk about that now.
Okay.
You're going to tell us the demerits, and then you analyze them in terms of leakages that we're talking about now, and then see what and other possible links that we need to put together to make this thing work. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
All right, we have here a security expert from the AUN, Dr. Lionel Rawlins, and we've been discussing interception communication. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, welcome back, and we have here in the studio Dr. Lionel Rawlins talking on interception communication. Before that break, we were looking at the disadvantage of this, and Yetunde made mention of Edward Snowden, leakages. And this is one of the major problems we have with interception of communication, people having access who are not credible. What other disadvantage do we have with this?
Well, that is the most disadvantage, is that the people who are listening in and doing this job has got to be of the utmost integrity, because they can do a lot of damage. It's like Snowden. But the thing is, Snowden, if you look back at the amount of years that they've been doing this, and if it only Snowden after all these years came out and do this, then it's a success. But we don't know how many people are out there selling this information. Since it is new for Nigeria, and will be new for Nigeria, you will have to find some real sanitized people and bring them in. And I would imagine initially you will have a lot of problems.
Right.
But
what kind of problems?
You will have problems because the temptation to gather information on people, I can gather that information on you and I can blackmail you with it. And no one, he will never know, no one will ever know but you and I. I can also gather that information and I can sell it to other people. And no one will ever know where it came from. Because then you will not know it came from me. You will probably think it's a family, a close friend, an ally or something.
Do we also see corruption playing in this line where you have people selling information?
And that is why I said initially here it will be a problem because, yes, you have a lot of corrupt individuals.
Now, I see you reacting in line with what the Senate President said. Now, let me read what he said here. The Senate President, during a deliberation on the floor of the Senate, said and warned Nigerians that care should be taken to avoid compounding security issues in the country in a bid to solve security challenges.
He's right. It's a true statement because you can take all of this and say we are doing it to solve the security issues and challenges that we are having. But really, what they're doing is compounding the problems by creating more problems, by taking people's information and selling it or doing things with it. Do you know there was a time when you Googled something, the people who used to put cookies in your computer so that they can see your lifestyle, what you do, what you like, where you shop, what you eat, what you buy. And they will gather all of that information unbeknownst to you and sell it to these advertisers and the corporate big shots, and then they will take that information and target you with advertisements and different things, because now they know exactly what you like, what you like to eat, what you like to wear, where you like to go. And when people found that out, the people were very annoyed that that was happening, and they had to bring laws to stop it. But that was new to Americans with the internet, and that is exactly what will happen here. Initially, you'll have a lot of mistakes, you're going to have a lot of problems because of the level of corruption. And it's a person may go in there with all good intentions of making the job work and gathering information that they need, but I can go in and corrupt that individual.
All right, now let me have you react to this quickly. Now, do you see this law, if passed, being able to curb the level of insecurity that we have in the country and would not infringe on the rights of Nigerians?
Yes, I believe it will, and it could.
Affirmatively?
And yes, it will happen. It will work, and it will make a big difference with the crime, the violence, the terrorism, and it will not infringe on the rights of Nigerians. I'm almost confident that it will not happen.
All right.
You all have too many people to be listening to everybody's conversation relating to their personal private life.
But compared to the United States of America, they are complaining. So we just leave it on that note, then we'll continue. We'll pick up from there.
That's
because
right.
we need to still digest some of the other components that is attached to this.
There's a lot of components.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. That was Dr. Lionel Rawlins, a security expert from the AUN, talking on interception communication. Still to come on the show is a discussion on national conference template and another on INEC and 2015 election conduct with Kashim Gaidam, INEC resident electoral commissioner. Don't miss out. Stay with us.